Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. Luke. Luke chapter 9 verse 11b-17. Jesus spoke to the crowds about the kingdom of God, and he healed those who needed healing. As the day began to draw to a close, the 12 approached him and said, "Send the crowd away so that they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside to find lodging and food. For we are in a deserted place here." But Jesus said to them, "You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish, unless we ourselves go and buy food for all these people." Indeed, there were about 5,000 men. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." The disciples did so and had them all sit down. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke them. Then he gave them to the disciples to distribute to the crowd. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. Dear friend, there are days when our soul feels like a dry desert. We wander through busyness and fatigue, feeling empty and lost. We search for a word of comfort, a place to rest, or simply a moment of peace. But all of it seems so far away, so hard to grasp. On days like that, the Gospel of Luke, Luke chapter 9 verse 11b-17, rises like cool water at high noon, gentle, healing, and full of hope. At that time, Jesus spoke to the crowd about the kingdom of God and healed those who needed healing. They followed him into the wilderness, bringing nothing in their hands, only a deep longing to be touched by life, to hear a word of love, to be healed. Jesus did not send them away, even though the day was fading, and the place had no shelter, no food, no comfort. Instead, he stayed. He looked at them. He cared for them. And then he said something unexpected. "You give them something to eat." That sentence, dear friend, was not only meant for the 12 long ago. It is the same word he speaks to me, to you, today. Even when we ourselves feel empty, exhausted, stuck in a desert place with no way out, he gently says, "You do it, love, care, feed, though your hands are empty." The disciples answered, "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish." Only. Insufficient. Small. Maybe you're saying the same to God right now. I don't have enough patience. I don't have enough courage. I'm too tired. I have nothing to give, only a wounded and worried heart. But here's the truth: even the little you have, when placed in God's hands, becomes a miracle. The story of a boy and the meal that fed thousands. A priest once told a story to children about the unnamed boy in John's Gospel, the one who had 5 loaves and 2 fish. He didn't have much, but he dared to give everything he had to the disciples. Had he kept it, it would have been enough for one meal, his own. But because he gave it, 5,000 were fed. And though his name was never mentioned, that boy became the seed of a miracle. Generosity, no matter how small, when done with love and lifted to God, Become something wondrous. And so can you. Even if you feel small, you can be the one to start healing in others, and in yourself. Jesus looked up to heaven and gave thanks. Before distributing the bread and fish, Jesus performed a key action. He looked up to heaven and gave thanks. He looked to the Father. He didn't focus on the shortage or the impossibility of the situation. He focused on the source of all life and goodness. Are you tired today? Perhaps you're anxious about work, your health, your family, or the inner battles you carry. But try this. In the middle of it all, pause. Look up. Lift your eyes to God. Place your 5 loaves and 2 fish in His hands. Maybe your unspoken grief, your unfinished prayer, or just a single peaceful breath. From tiny faith to overflowing abundance. It's astonishing. From one meager meal, an entire crowd was fed. Not just fed, but satisfied. And not just satisfied, but with 12 baskets left over. Jesus doesn't perform flashy miracles for show. He gives what is enough, what is whole, and even gives extra. Sometimes in life, all we want is enough peace, enough strength, enough love. But God gives more than enough. He gives abundantly, so that not only are we filled, but we may also share with others. The story of Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Once, someone asked Mother Teresa, "Don't you feel overwhelmed caring for so many poor people?" She smiled and said, "I never think in terms of doing great things. I only try to do small things with great love." The loaves and fishes, those were the small things with great love. A single glance of compassion, a word of encouragement, a helping hand. These may seem like small acts, but when done with love, they become miracles. You too can be the one who sows miracles. You don't need to wait until you're strong to begin sharing. You don't need to be healed to start loving. God calls you, right now, in your weakness, in your fragility, in the desert of your heart. Give, trust, place it all in my hands. And through that surrender, you too will be healed. A single mother and the hollow bread rolls. There was once a single mother living in a poor village. Every morning, she packed her child a bread roll for school. But she couldn't afford any filling, so the rolls were hollow. She feared her son would feel ashamed, so she told him, "I make them hollow so you can blow cool air into them during the hot midday sun." Years later, when the child had grown up and succeeded in life, he shared this story in a moving speech. "I didn't grow up with full bread, but with the love that filled my mother's empty rolls. I lived on that love." You see, even when we have nothing, love can still feed. And that love, even silent and small, is a miracle from God. Where are you in today's gospel? Are you one of the crowd, tired, hungry, needing healing? Are you one of the disciples, overwhelmed, feeling not enough? Are you the unnamed boy, holding something small, being called to give? Or are you one of those gathering the leftovers, learning to be grateful? Learning not to waste grace? Whoever you are, God is with you. He looks at you. He doesn't send you away. He invites you to sit, to rest, and to trust. And in the desert of your life, He prepares a banquet. One final word. Offer Him your little portion. You don't need to have much. You only need a willing heart. Offer Jesus whatever you have. Your sorrow, your half-formed prayer, your tiny hope. Let Him bless it, break it, and give it back to you. Not only to satisfy you, but to feed others through you. And when the day ends, you will not go home empty. You will carry with you gratitude, peace, and baskets full of love, more than you ever imagined. Dear friend, believe this. Miracles still happen, right where you dare to give and dare to love.